Hey guys, and welcome to a video I just really wanted to make, because I have not been this jazzed for a long time, and I feel like a lot of us are in that same boat, so I felt like video just goes hand in hand, but more or less this is for me. So, the Game Awards just happened. We got a bunch of new games, more gameplay of the games we already knew that were coming out, but we got a game from a studio that I love to pieces and has made one of my favorite games. Obsidian. Fallout New Vegas was that. It had a horrible launch. Fallout New Vegas, one of the worst launches for video games, and it was just super slow and janky, but a year back when I played it, super good. Super great. I came back to it, played all the DLCs, fell in love. Thank you, Obsidian. But here's where I fuck up. It's called The Outer World, but I want to call it Lost in Space for whatever reason. I have not a clue, but it's what I want to call it. Anyways, yes, also, cup, mug, don't worry about it. Yes, Outer Worlds. I would highly advise go checking out the gameplay of it. GameSpot, and I imagine a few others, are going to have more in-depth gameplay, the whole shebang, for being able to see the game. Now, first things first is, I'm a bit all over the place, so I'm going to try to condense my thoughts and consolidate them as best I can. Now, okay, so this game feels like it is exactly what I need, and exactly what I wanted, because having seen another game that I'm excited for but I'm very worried about is Rage 2. Because I love the original Rage by id a lot. I love it up to pieces. I think it's such a cool game, but my biggest fear for Rage 2 was that they are limiting the one-on-one encounters with enemies, and they're making it Doom. Basically Doom in an apocalypse, and like, that's not hell, you know? And as much as I think that's gonna be fun, I don't think that's gonna be what I loved about Rage. But with this, it seems like it's really hitting that spot, and instead of it being like post-apocalyptic, it's instead of distant dystopian worlds conquered by corporations and all this madness. Also, it's made by New Vegas and the original makers of Fallout. And that's where I'm kind of like, that's where I kind of fall off, to where I'm like, I have faith in them, but at the same time, the main selling point for me personally is that it's made by Obsidian, the makers of Fallout New Vegas, and it seems like it's so much the case, for better or worse at times. Yeah, when you see gameplay of it, it does look kind of janky. Honestly, the gameplay I can forgive. The kind of weird jankiness to the world not being so good, like there's a lot of yellows and greens that look like the lighting's a bit weird in the game. That I can forgive. The one thing that I don't think I can forgive, well, I can forgive, but it's gonna be really hard to, is the weird deadpan faces of the characters. So I'm really hoping that in a year's time they can kind of tweak and adjust that to where they can have more like human, or not just, I don't know. When you look at the AI, they look very derpy and like they're glossed over, like they're just kind of dead inside. And I'm like, okay, I'd rather not. I'd rather not have that. But this is Obsidian, who has made New Vegas, which had an amazing creation kit, so maybe that's also what they're planning on doing, is they're just trying to make an incredible framework, and then they're going to make a mod kit, which will allow people to tweak the various crazy things that they don't like about it. Maybe there'll be a couple texture packs to make the faces look better, different, whatever. But with that being said, I'm also worried, but also I love this aspect. It's two conflicting emotions. I love that it is shell-shaded, or kind of that weird, not detail graphical design. It's more of like a shell-shaded, drawn, kind of a mixture of Rage and Borderlands kind of look to me. I love that, because it kind of makes it ageless, but it also makes it, I think at least, fairly hard to mod. Then again, Fallout 4 has kind of that same cartoony-ish look to it, and they were able to do fine, so I have not a clue. The combat also is the weird thing. The combat, when I seen the gameplay of the combat, which I seen in GameSpot, I was like, okay, I'm hoping the person that's just playing the game is a bit weird, because yeah, that person was weirdly aiming, and instead of VATS, there's like bullet time, which ultimately stops you in place, I think, until you interact with something, which acts as the same thing, more or less, for VATS. Yeah, apparently there's things like diseases, so that was in Fallout 76, but not diseases. In the game it's called fears. So if you get attacked by an animal 10 times, you have an option to be like, hey, I think it's eligibility. I think you can deny being afraid of this, or you can take it. Now, why would you want to have a fear? Because it gives you a positive and a negative, and you guys can kind of see what this is being built for RPG-wise. Also, something I should have done in the beginning, but I didn't, apologies, is this game is an RPG like New Vegas, and the premise is that you're basically world hopping, and that's kind of the general design. And what I gather that it is like a mixture of Borderlands, Fallout New Vegas, and Bioshock. The gameplay looks very Bioshock 1 kind of mentality. Just when I see the gameplay right now that we have is dude walking around with a revolver, and I'm like, ooh, that's real Bioshock vibes for me. But that's also fine. I'm totally okay with that. And the art style, again, edges on like Bioshock to Borderlands. It's kind of weird marriage between the two. Now, the gameplay looks pretty good. Doesn't look great. Looks kind of like New Vegas, you know? Passable, kind of. Hopefully, they'll polish it out because it doesn't look insanely good. But hey, hopefully that's the case. Second thing is that the characters look weird, and that's probably my biggest hiccup, is that the character design and the facial animation and the emotion in the face seems to be very lacking. It seems like they're very much like painted faces, kind of like dead inside, which I'm hoping that they can somehow tweak up, or at least release a creation kit to where modders can have their fucking way with it and go bloody nuts. I think that'd be awesome. Anyways, I don't remember what thing I'm on, but one of the things, this is just a mess, so just take me as I am, but apparently they've been taking notes for Fallout, like keeping track of what does well, what didn't do well, what they liked, what they didn't like. The original craze of Fallout in terms of like Fallout 76, Fallout 4, 5, or whatever. 4. And you can totally see that just within the short trailer or the gameplay that we kind of got, which you can see companions running about. So you have 2 companions, and I think you can only have 2 companions at a given time, which is the same as Fallout 4. And there's so much like RPG things that I'm into at this point. I'm ready for that. I'm ready for like an RPG game that has depth in like building a character, what you're going to specialize into. If you want to be a melee only character that's just like a bruiser, if you want to be a gun only character, there's so many different layers. There's potentially a lying number, so you lie like 50 times and then you make it a trait to where people are like, you seem dishonest. Fuck yeah. It's wicked. And then there's other things with companions that I'm hoping, and it does seem like they kind of have and it very much feels like a crew, like Guardians of the Galaxy, where you're on a spaceship with your various companions. You can choose who comes with you, but in the companion skill tree, as well as them having like the New Vegas charms of having like opinions, and if you do something that they disagree with, they'll leave, things like that. Apparently, one of the things that exists is that you can equip a leader, and you don't have to be the leader. So you can have this group of 3 people, and you can assign a leader, and the reason why you'd want to be the leader is because they gain buffs. But say if you have this god tier character, like Boone from Fallout New Vegas, and you choose to, and you see that he would massively benefit from your buff that you're giving him, as well as your companion's buff, like critical damage, and he auto-locks to heads, like it would be insane. But also, for role-playing purposes, you could be like, this guy's the captain, and I'm just gonna kind of be the side man if you just want to see what happens. And again, it's an RPG made by Fallout New Vegas people, with that Obsidian. And apparently you can off the person who revives you, because you're in a stasis chamber, traveling across the distant stars, and this crazy scientist wakes you up and says, hey, help me out, bro, and you can apparently off him and just go on your merry way and do whatever you're gonna do, experience the story in a different way. You'll kind of patch and make that work. Who knows? Again, we're in the stages right now of hype, and again, the reason why this hits me so hard is because it seems like the game that I want right now, as well as a game that I was hoping wouldn't be just gone. And again, every time I see Rage 2, which does look like a fun game, it doesn't look like the Rage that I liked. The first Rage game, I really liked it to pieces, and this game kind of feels like the weird marriage between Rage, Bioshock, Borderlands, and Fallout. It's like a clusterfuck. But then, with that being said, the designers of the game said that specifically. The people that made Fallout, and I think Obsidian, some people from there, basically said that they've been keeping, or the main person that made Fallout, who I think is the director of the game, said that for a while now it's a dream to work on this, because he's been compiling like things that he would want and etc., and kind of making this weird hybridization of things that he would enjoy, and hopefully they can make it come together in a way that makes sense and actually is fun. But who knows, maybe it ends up just being kind of a weird mishmash of too many things. Maybe it's super buggy, maybe you wait 10 hours for a loading screen, which was the case for Fallout on New Vegas at launch. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Again, to me, the thing that would like live and die by this game having is mod support. It seems so much like the game that is fully functioning for mod support, because it seems like the engine's pretty good. The characters, I have faith in Obsidian utterly, that they're gonna sell those characters to you, companions, whatnot. But the one thing that I don't think that Obsidian is the best at, and maybe this is, hopefully I'm wrong, but I don't think they're good at mechanical things slash game in the like engine, basically engine stuff, like taking the time and the time that you would need to make an iris that looks proper. Whereas in the first like week of Fallout 4, there was like a special iris mod or something. As soon as the dev kit got released, bang, a person made like beautiful looking eyes that looked realistic, but like not going against the cartoonish nature of Fallout 4, which I thought was awesome. And again, this game does seem like it has those kind of jagged edges that I know fans of Obsidian and games that they make will kind of probably forgive, but we only forgive them because mods fix that shit instantly almost. so it's one of those things that I'm really hoping that they have mod support. I really hope that they took that lesson from Fallout New Vegas, because Fallout New Vegas, you can go play it now, download the right mods, and it looks like a game that could come out now. Some wear and tear for sure because it's old, but still passable, which is awesome. Just that the modding community is like that. And again, I really hope that the modding community is going to take that game on, and that Obsidian gives them the creation kit to do so. But yeah, man, I don't know. It was the one game that I walked away from the Game Awards being like it wasn't even the aspect of Obsidian working on it. That's cool. I love that. But it was just the kooky nature of it. That's why I think that's why you will hear with this game that people keep comparing it to these weird things, because yes, it has kind of shell-shaded cartoonish features, but also it has wacky goofiness like Borderlands. And I feel like that's why you'll keep hearing people be like, it's this and this and bah and da ba da ba da ba, like a crazy scientist trying to make and explain this game. And who knows? Again, this may be the thing where like it has such extensive desire to accomplish so many things that it never actually sees any of them through. That's potentially the case as well. Temper your expectations always. But nah, man. Right now, I'm just excited that it exists. I've been waiting to see what Obsidian has done for a while, and I love that. And again, I know some people are like, the maker of Fallout is doing this, and that's amazing. I'm kind of in the boat where I'm like, I mean, I didn't play Fallout 1. It's like a weird turn-based kind of thing, but apparently the story was good in that game too, so that's fine. But from a narrative gameplay perspective, those are the narrative thing I don't think is going to be an issue. I do think the gameplay thing is probably going to be the hiccup, and that's something that Fallout 4 barely got better, and I hope we don't go backwards, but we may be going backwards. Also, again, the only design issue that I have, like visually, is again the glossed over dead human eyes and faces that are like the characters in the game. Some of the characters, some of them are better than others, weirdly enough, because probably it's still being created. But the other thing I don't like from the design perspective is I seen this clip of us walking down this road into this like dead town kind of look. But I don't like the way the colors are interacting. Like, I do like the vibrancy of red and all those things, but as he's walking, it gets kind of weird gradient and like just really unappealing to the eye, like yellow, almost like. And I think this is something that Fallout 76 has as well, where its colors start to kind of get blended into each other when they're that bright and that vibrant. It's a problem when using vibrancy. I really hope they can kind of scale some of that back. Again, it's just like things that I think would be adjusting the lighting in that area, because it does seem like it's super overexposed, which I'm fine with. But again, I just hope you just crank it back a little bit, or again, say do none of that. Just focus on making a decent engine and the back work of the game, and release it for modders, because Yeah, and I don't like saying that as the objective. I know that's a thing that Bethesda gets shit for constantly, where they're like, they release broken games and let the community patch it or something. And I'm like, fair enough, that's shitty. But at the same time, I'd kind of be okay with it in this instance. In this instance, I'd be like, hey, because again, it seems like a world that you could get lost in. It seems like it has levels to where modders could go fucking amp and crazy on it. I feel like it'd be great. I feel like it'd be I'm very hyped. I'm very excited about this game that I know actually a good bit about. They actually released a lot, and it's coming out maybe next year. That's what they have slotted, but for how extensive this game is, may get delayed. How much they're seeming to be doing. But yeah. The only thing I really hope is there's depth, and I think that's something that we're gonna get a lot of, but I hope it's still, I don't know how to say it. Basically, one of the shortcomings I found a slight bit in Fallout New Vegas, and it was one of my favorite aspects of it as well, but it's the companions. And I felt like a lot of the companions had stories, but not choices and impact on those stories. And that's something I really hope that they do. Like, that's something that I think Fallout 4 beat New Vegas in. I thought Fallout 4, their way they handled companions was beautiful and amazing and just fun and enjoyable, and you got to help them push through their trials and tribulations, and it was great. And yes, some things in Fallout New Vegas did do that with Boone and stuff like that, but not quite to the degree in which I would like with Outer Worlds. I want to say Lost in Space so badly. I don't know why. But yes, let me know what your most hyped game was when it comes to the Game Awards. I know there was a lot of good ones that were released. I know some people are loving the whole Mortal Kombat was announced. People are loving that. People are going apeshit about Super Mario Bros. Having the goddamn thing. The anime bro in there, which is awesome. Tons of crazy shit. Devil May Cry news. Anthem looking decent. The story. That was weird. They released a bunch of stuff for Anthem, and they were like, we're going to explain the story. Here's our story trailer. And I'm like, what? I'm still confused. I'm still confused. Okay, there's a villain. Cool. Like, what? Anyways, sorry. The other thing was, this is kind of news that wasn't exactly in the Game Awards, but it's kind of like going around the internet. But apparently, Borderlands 4, or 3, sorry, Borderlands 3, the new Borderlands game that will be released eventually, there were some leaks about it, and essentially, I'm just going to talk about the classes that were leaked, so the people that we were playing as, and this is all kind of speculation. This is not confirmed like or Outer Worlds was, but apparently in the next Borderlands game, there is going to be a female soldier. She's a soldier class, if you guys know Borderlands. And she's gonna have a mech that's called Bear Mech, which is wicked. And apparently, you can level up the Bear Mech to where you can have a turret that I imagine just fucks shit up, but then you can get your co-op partner, Vault Hunter, to get in your mech, or to get into your turret and start shitting on people in the turret, which just sounds amazing. And there's gonna be a decoy class, but it seems like the decoy class is gonna be more of a tech class, so he's gonna have more like tech things, not just decoy, but like the tech build kind of thing, like a bunch of different varying tiny abilities rather than just this huge colossus boom. But yeah, he's apparently in the assassin class, like the guy Zero, my favorite boy, my favorite alien man, cyber boy, whatever he is. Oh, and apparently the siren this time around is going to be melee focused, which is interesting. And this is my favorite. And the concept art, or the leaked image, which I'm not sure if any of this is correct, but the leaked image looks like the coolest shit on the planet. But he is called the Beastmaster, and his name is like Flak with Pets or something like that. It's like he wears a flak jacket, and he's a Beastmaster basically. And apparently he's gonna be one of the first heroes, Vault Hunters, sorry, that have multiple animals, because he's a Beastmaster. So each skill tree will affect that animal. So that's wicked. I imagine you could spread yourself out thin and have access to all the animals, or you could just make one animal like a fucking god, like I've always wanted this, but I've always wanted a skag, or a Beastmaster character that has a skag that starts off like a little baby skag, but then through your upgrade ability through your tree, he becomes this like walking super legendary skag that's just like this monster. If you don't know Borderlands, you don't know a goddamn thing I'm talking about, but I'm hyped about that as well. Just knowing more things about that, and again, I really hope that Beastmaster leak is correct, where you'll have access to this a bunch of these pets that can just wreck the world. That sounds awesome. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. As always, that was me just gushing about Outer Worlds. A game that I hope is as good as I hope it is. And again, I think it will be, as long as they tone down the lighting, fix the character animations for the faces, give some life to them, or don't, and just make a dev or make a modding kit. What is it called? Creation kit. Make a creation kit for the game, and let modders kind of tweak the shit in the front face, but Obsidian should definitely work on the back end of the game so it's not trash. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe above me, see what you see to my right. Let me know what you guys think about Outer Worlds. Thank you so much for your time, and goodbye.